Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Michel Fiffe's Copra #1 from Image Comics. Great series. The collections are just coming out, so I thought it would be a great time to look through this first issue, something I've been meaning to get to for a long time. So I'm very excited about it. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit like, and let's get right into it. All right, so thank you. I'm so sorry I forgot who sent this to me. I know your name is on the tip of my tongue. One of my viewers sent me a nice little care package of comics that he felt I might enjoy reviewing, and this is one of them. I was super excited. Michel Fiffe's been on my radar for a while now, and I've been meaning to dive in and just looking for the right time. So this is Copra #1. It's kind of interesting because I guess a collection just came out. This is such a great story, and it's very synergistic with, I just did an interview with Nick Cagnetti of Pink Lemonade, one of my other new favorite comic book, super cool. And it's a similar story in the fact that for all you aspiring comic book artists, self-published, underground artists, very inspirational. Michel and Nick both just made comics on their own, and they were going to make comics whether a publisher did it or not, and they self-published to the point where a publisher picked them up, so Michel Fiffe is kind of crazy. He did like 32 issues of Copra, the first volume. This is actually volume 2, #1. Printed them himself, published it himself, mailed them to stores and personal people. I mean, I'm imagining those initial copies are probably worth a pretty penny and kind of rare. I don't even imagine like the print run. But what an entrepreneur, right? Both cartoonists in New York. New York cartoonists have the grit, you know what I'm saying? But look at this gorgeous cover. And also, this is also an interesting thing. And I feel like this is brought up in connection with Copra, and it's been a concept that was mentioned before. It's like, if you can't draw the X-Men, then come up with your own version of the X-Men and do it yourself. On one hand, I mean, I feel like you should change it hella enough to like not worry about being sued and stuff. On one hand, it's kind of unoriginal, but on the other hand, a lot of times it turns into something completely unoriginal, and it's not a great place. It's not a bad place to start. So Copra is very much like Michel Fiffe's version of John Ostrander's Suicide Squad from 80s DC Comics, basically. And you can see it all over the place, the influences in the characters. I mean, the Deadshot looking character. I was a fan of Suicide Squad, and I read it when it first came out, but I'm not super beholden to it. Like, I don't know it the way that Michel Fiffe clearly does. So, created, written, penciled, inked, colored, lettered, produced by Michel Fiffe. I love cartoonists like Michel Fiffe, like my friend Don Simpson, who is like the package deal. They do everything nuts to bolts themselves. And there's just something so satisfying about that. It's weird. I was thinking about this recently, and I feel like we've come very full circle in a lot of ways in the industry. It's like the beauty of comic books is that it is something that you can do from start to finish yourself. Writing, penciling, inking, lettering, coloring, for time's sake and mass production, they came up with like the studio system of someone penciling, someone inking, someone lettering, all doing it separately. And I think the merits of both are so great. But I like to see this, you know what I mean? This showcases the beauty and magic of the art form. His color sense is amazing. His style is great. It's weird because I see it's such a great combination of traditional American superhero comic books like the Suicide Squad and other teen books, and I feel like we see like Punisher influence. You'll see, but then the finish and the texture and the detail, and especially the color sense, are very European, very like Mobius, very just like beautiful. And I just love it so much. The character design is great, even if they're based on other characters. I mean, clearly you cannot look at this and not see the Punisher. Am I wrong? But the storytelling is just amazing, imaginative, just like so fresh and different, like unlike anything I've seen before. It reads very like underground, very indie, but just so cool. Blam, blam. You know, it's like, if that's not an argument for sound effects and comics right there, it's like, I love a cartoonist who is going to utilize all the benefits and beauty of the comic book art form at his disposal. I love this title becoming part of the ceiling and this great perspective here, this great establishing shot. If you know my channel, you know I love a double page spread that utilizes the bottom of the page to continue telling the story. I'm embarrassed. I should know the name. I mean, what is it like? Is it Shade or not Kid? I don't know who is the character that is based on, but I love the design. I love it. I love the art. I love the coloring. I love the tone. I like the dialogue that he uses. I feel like one of the things that this feels like a great like 80s movie, which sort of is what kind of the original Suicide Squad felt like to me in a lot of ways. So I feel like this is all hitting on so great. I like, the color texture that he uses is just so good. His style is very unique in the fact that, his storytelling is so good. The aesthetic is very appealing, but it's also kind of rough at the same time. And I don't know, just sort of like the airbrushy kind of texturing, but sometimes watercolor look of the coloring. It's just such a nice blend. Like, it's such a great contrast to the pop of the graphic pop of the almost noir. I mean, I feel like slightly like Frank Miller vibes with the stark black and whites happening in the negative space of that, coupled with the nuance of the coloring. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's very unique. I haven't seen a lot like this. I also see another example of great storytelling and how you can utilize storytelling. It's like, even though this is completely on the same tangent and bringing your eye over, the difference in the color and the fact that the border panel gutter is split right here to sort of slow your eye down a little bit. It's just magical. And I also love the humor that's in here, because it's not like over the top, but it's very subtle, pretty good arm princess. I don't know, sometimes you can't help but laugh. But their dialogue is also not like so over the top, like Rambo, like, I'll be back kind of like just ridiculousness. And then, I don't know, then every once in a while you just get a panel like this that just kind of stops you in your tracks. And there just feels like so much going on here. I love the texture in his hatching. I see so many great influences in his art. All I can see is Biotron from Micronauts right here. I doubt that was an influence, but you never know. I love that Deadshot is named, well, I mean, not Deadshot, but, the Deadshot sort of avatar is named Lloyd. And if I didn't say it already, great costume design. And this, oh my gosh, like, come on. Yeah, like, I've been aware of Copra for a while. I feel like it was one of those books that I didn't know. You hear hyped a lot, and it's like, oh yeah, I should check that out. I should check that out. So I really thank my friend and viewer who sent me this book. I really do appreciate that. That is so cool. Feel free, everybody. I need a P.O. box, right? Not only do I take requests, but I will do, if you're a self-published comic book artist, I've reviewed a lot of those too, and I truly enjoy it. Those are always the most special to me. And as a matter of fact, it's like some of the best going these days. And like I said, this very much, this kind of gives me hope and inspiration looking at this, because a lot of the books I do look at, by like some of my favorite creators, like Sam J. Royale and James Winsor Smith and Tony McMillan and a lot of other people that I'm forgetting, but looking at their self-published works and stuff, I would love to see it one day, put up an Image or whoever would, their choice to benefit them, I guess. I like to see, I like that the tenacity, like the story of if it weren't a good comic book, the story behind it is still a good story. Just the fact that, and he talks about it in the back, it's like the sacrifice you make as a comic book artist to tell me this didn't take work. And this is volume 2 after like 32 issues of sort of like doing it yourself and mailing it out from your little studio in New York. So crazy. Like, props to you, Michel Fiffe. This, like, very inspirational, right, guys? Love the vertical panels. I mean, this is just so much fun. You see so many different sort of influences and just different turns and direction in the art, and the color choices are just amazing. You know, I do a lot of interviews with artists, and I do have a request out from Michel Fiffe to talk about his art, because this is mind-blowing. I want to know I mean, you've mentioned some of your influences in the back and stuff, but I don't know. I would just like to talk artist to artist when and if you ever have the time. But until then, I am happy to enjoy your work from afar as a fan and just drink in the beautiful deliciousness of this. I love that it's printed on matte paper too. I think slick paper would have ruined it completely. See what I mean? How we go from like, is this the Amanda Waller character, I guess? But I just love this color journey that we're on along with everything else. And that is a badass panel right there. Like I said, every once in a while, he just throws in this like amazing panel to stop you dead in your tracks. And this whole color scheme happening is so good too. And I love the lettering. It's just fun. It's a great package deal. Where have I been? So late to the party. I'm so happy to be on board with this. Look at this crazy ass double page spread. How gorgeous is that? I don't know. There's something so charming too about the fact that you have like these like clear inspirations running around like the Punisher with this, and he's complaining about his hey, will you fix my face up already? This dangling skin is obnoxious. See, that's what I mean about the humor. Like, he just says it so like, you know, straightforward. God, I'm in love with the composition of this page. That is amazing. So now, of course, so I guess, you know, one of his dreams was to work on Rob Liefeld's Blood Strike. I guess that might be part of an influence on this book as well. And he got the chance and did it. So now I'm thinking I need to get that and review that for sure. Because that looks, I mean, if it's any, like, 10% as good as this, then it's worth it. See, I love this too, this crazy design. I don't know about all the practicality of it, but it just looks freaking amazing. I just love your line work and your pen. I don't know. Once again. So do you draw on paper? Is this, I would love to see an artist edition, right? And then we have this fun, Next, Escape from Arm. Love that so much. Such a cool book, you guys. If this has been like something that you've been thinking about getting, there's some great like new collections that just came out. So what better time, right, than now to jump on board with this? I love these pages in the back, sort of like, you know, DC Who's Who's character, like histories. I mean, this is clearly influenced by the Who's Who, you know, manuals. Love these characters. I love that their names are just like names. Well, not all of them. Lloyd, very cool. I wonder who that could have been inspired by. Catching up with Copra. How crazy is this? So, one panel recaps of each issue that came out before this. So it's kind of interesting too, because I mean, obviously you don't need to read this first, I guess, but this is a good way of helping you catch up and loving the whole colors of this. I mean, just like crazy, silly rainbow all over the place. So good. So my wheelhouse. What a fun book. And then he just like tells his little story in the back here. And I mean, very inspirational. One of the greatest cartoonists working right now. I mean, who does like everything, right? Favorites: Expose, Jelly Bean, Stevie B, Cover Girls, hilarious. Lisa Nicole Jam. Influences: Ditko, Hernandez Brothers, Nascenti, Walter Simonson, Dorkin, Janssen, Mura, Chaikin, Munoz, Ostrander and Yale, Kirby, McDuffie, Close, Miller, Grors, Metodi, and Grenwald. Oh, and I have to read this because this is so genius. And this just shows the type of creator that he is. His advice to aspiring creators: be passionate, be true, be open to the possibility that things might not work out in your favor because life is indeed a chaos vortex. And despite what marketing might suggest, you are not the center of the universe. And really, we're all lucky to be just alive. Practice your anatomy and read everything, not just comics. That is so important, you guys. And like, it's like he was 32 issues and he just kept plugging away, and tenacity pays off, people. And this is a perfect example of that. Copra, #1. Go out and get your collection today. It is so worth checking out. Such a fun book. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful art. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll bring you more later.